Mourinho, Cole and Lampard among the witnesses called by John Terry's defence team on day 3 of his trial. Andre Villas-Boas says he's learned lessons from his time at Chelsea as he prepares for a new start with Spurs. And could Andy Carroll be heading back to Newcastle on loan? We hear from Alan Pardew. But first this evening, day 3 of John Terry's racism trial at Westminster Magistrates Court has concluded. Our chief news reporter Brian Swanson is there for us.
We are expecting a verdict on Friday. The Chief Magistrate, Howard Riddle, said that tomorrow there will be the summing up from both the prosecution and the defence. He will then retire to give his verdict. We're expecting that to be on Friday, but it can't categorically be ruled out going into Saturday. But there is the expectation. This trial was always scheduled for 5 days, so we've had 3 days of evidence, including witnesses. Tomorrow there will be the summing up, then the verdict expected by the end of this week.
Well, Andre Villas-Boas says he's entitled to feel some credit for helping set Chelsea on the way to Champions League glory before his sacking. And as he prepares for a new start with Spurs, he's been keen to stress he's learnt a lot of lessons from his 8-month spell at Stamford Bridge.
You've always learned from experience, and from my understanding, the Chelsea experience was maybe not so gratifying in terms of success, but it was very, very gratifying professionally for me. I've learned a couple of things that I've maybe done wrong, and I've learned that in a club you have to trust the right people at the right time. It's never a one-person failure, and I will never take it like that. There is mistakes that I've made, which I've learned. But the decision to terminate the project is not mine. It's a decision from the owner of Chelsea Football Club. For Chelsea to have won the FA Cup and the Champions League, it means that we were still present in that competition by that time.
Well, Villas-Boas also confirmed that midfielder Luka Modric is looking to leave the club. The Croatia international has continued to be a pivotal figure in the Tottenham side. His performances last season were an improvement on the 2010-2011 season. Modric scored 1 more goal, had 2 more assists and created 95 chances for his teammates, compared to 66 the season before. He also won a higher percentage of tackles.
It's fair to say that we respect Luka's ambitions and his willingness to move on, and I think Luka respects as well the fact that he is an important player for the club, a player that can help us move forward, and I think ongoing discussions with these various clubs will continue till we reach an agreement which is sensible for each party.
The club has revealed its new training centre as well in North London. The £45 million complex covers 67 acres and features 11 outdoor pitches and 1 indoor pitch. The site also houses facilities for the club's academy and youth setups, as well as being the training base for the first team. Newcastle manager Alan Pardew is refusing to be drawn on whether he would take Andy Carroll back on loan. Pardew has also been talking about Demba Ba's future at the club.
Well, I think the situation with Demba has been the same since he arrived at the football club. He has a contract to Newcastle United. He's loved here. He had a brilliant, especially first half of the season. After the African nations, I think it didn't go perhaps as well for Demba as it could have. And that's something we'll look at, because we want him to be at his very, very best. But we're planning for him to have another great season with us. There's a lot of talk about players when new managers go in and their situations get all cloudy. I don't think that's completely resolved one way or the other, so I wouldn't really like to comment. He did an absolutely terrific job here. I've always supported him while he's been at Liverpool, where a lot of other people weren't. I mean, I thought he got a bit of a raw deal, if I'm honest. So not by Liverpool, but just by the media in general. And I think he's going to be a great player.
Meanwhile, Adel Taarabt has signed a new long-term contract with QPR. The midfielder has signed a 3-year deal that commits him to the club until 2016. Taarabt will wear the number 10 shirt next season.
I think the ambition of the club was massive, and as well with the new manager Marquinhos convinced me to stay at this club, and he wants me, if I stay with him, I'm going to work and progress. And the club, like I said, they've got big ambition, and that's why I stay and I sign a new contract here.
On Sky Sports, there's live T20 cricket as the West Indies play host to New Zealand for the 3rd ODI of their series, and that's on Sky Sports 2 HD right now.
Watch all 6 Sky Sports channels on your mobile and online.